Well, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Love Shreveport podcast. We are so excited today to have Shreveport's leader, the mayor, Mr. Tom Arceneaux, with us today. How are you doing, Mr. Mayor?
I'm doing great. It's really good to be on the podcast. I'm excited about doing it.
We're excited to have you. A lot of exciting things happening in the city of Shreveport. We're going to jump right into this podcast. Tell us who Tom Arceneaux is outside of being the mayor.
Well, I'm a husband and a father and a grandfather, and I like to sing and I like to read, and I've been in a church worship band, and I've been in a number of choirs, so I do enjoy that. I will not give you a sample on this podcast.
I was going to say next. Can you give us a sample?
I will not, but I do. I love to sing and I like to read, and I do some writing. I used to do a business development thought for the day that I published every business day for about 14 years.
Wow.
So I've got about, if you ever need any little small business development snippets, I have about 5,000 of them
Most
saved
definitely. Awesome. That's good to know about who you are. And what prompted you to become or want to become the mayor of Shreveport?
I love Shreveport, as my button says. I really do love Shreveport,
yes.
And I just thought that the experience that I had on the city council,
sure,
and my education and my maturity gave me a different perspective than other candidates had,
mm-hmm.
and I thought that I had something to offer the people of Shreveport, sure, and I wanted to offer it, and they took me up on my offer.
Yes, they did. Awesome. So we're coming up to 100 days of you being in office.
Right.
Tell us how that transition has been.
It's been relatively smooth. Every transition has rough spots, but mostly it's been very pleasant. I have a great staff.
Awesome.
And they have kept me kind of on the straight and narrow,
yeah,
and then the people in the administration have been extremely helpful in providing me information, because you're learning lots of things. You know, anytime you take an office like this, you think you know a lot of stuff, and then once you take the office, you learn that you don't know near as much as you thought you knew, and you have to really start absorbing a tremendous amount of information. So I have done that, and then it's also different. You know, I practiced law for 40 plus years, and it's very different from practicing law. Now, some of the analytical skills and the fact-finding skills and those kind of things are similar, but I have to set the agenda. Yes. I have to lead.
Yes.
And so I have to initiate things, which is I'm good at that, but it wasn't something that I did a lot, sure, when I was practicing law. Mostly, it's a lot of what you do when you're practicing law is reactive instead of initiating. And so that has been something that I have really enjoyed getting to do, sure, as the mayor. Sure. Now I have to react to things too.
Of course.
So, but I really do enjoy doing the job of mayor, and I have found people very encouraging and very, very helpful in all walks of life, and certainly as employees of the city. I have found that the city employees are very supportive of their mayor.
Yes.
And they're very helpful to me, and they provide information, and I'm just very thrilled to be the mayor.
That's awesome. Awesome. So in the transition, tell us any challenges that you may have faced already as mayor.
Well, we had a couple of, we've had a couple of surprises, but both pleasant and less than pleasant, sure, surprises. We have a millage election coming up, which we had to hop into really quick. Sure. I did not know about that before I became the mayor, but at the same time, some of the things that we're looking at now in economic development were things that were already started, and that we just needed to see about due diligence and see if we could make them happen.
Sure, sure. And so with the challenges, then on the other side, there's some accomplishments. Tell us some accomplishments you've already had as mayor.
Well, I think we've made progress with some of the economic development things, like the REV transaction, and that's not completed, but we've come a long way on that. That kind of, in a way, fell into our lap, but it still needed a tremendous amount of work. We have some budget amendments before the council right now that will result in really allocating some money to some of the priorities that I campaigned on: streets, blight, litter abatement. Those things are in a pretty good sized little, about a $10.5 million budget amendment that are before the council currently. So I think that has been a real positive, and to me, assuming that the council passes it, and I hope that they will, we'll begin to see the results of the things that I really wanted to bring about when I campaigned for mayor.
Sure. So before this year 2023 is out, what do you look to accomplish before the year is out?
I look to make a final decision or a recommendation on the Rev Entertainment project at the fairgrounds. We look to do something with Millennium Studios. So I think that will be a positive. That we're in very serious negotiations with 50 Cent, and not difficult to go. Actually, we're just going through the process.
Sure.
He made an offer to us. We responded with some comments and some questions, and then he responded with a bunch of comments and some questions for us. So those are going very well. I think that will get done. We will have increased our budget for streets significantly and do some significant street work this year, assuming bids come in the way that we
Sure.
hope that they will come in. We will devote a lot more money to demolition of substandard property. And what I really hope to do with that is to encourage people to restore their properties. Sure. I'd really rather not have to use all that money,
Sure.
but when we use that money and people know that we have teeth behind our property standards code, I think that makes a difference. I'd like to have a new look on the city's website this year, and because I think that all websites get dated, and you need to reevaluate them from time to time. So that's something that we're going to look at. Got to make progress on the water and sewer consent decree, and we're in negotiation with the Department of Justice on that. So those are just a handful of things but they're all pretty good sized things.
And for 2023, that'll be major for our city.
Yes.
To accomplish. So you told us about the man, Tom Arceneaux. Tell the citizens about what you would want them to know about the mayor, Tom Arceneaux.
Well, the first thing is I don't ever consider myself the smartest person in the room,
Sure.
which means I want to get input from every citizen and from citizen groups, neighborhood associations, the stakeholders of Shreveport. They're, the taxpayers are the shareholders of this corporation. So it's very, very important that I get input from them, and I try to have an open mind about that.
Sure.
And so I try and gather information and process it, and then come up with the help of the administration, and frankly with help from the city council. The city council input is very important to me because they are closer to the constituents than I am. They represent single member districts. So I think that that's very healthy for us to have an exchange of information. But I'm a processor, so I like to gather as much information as I can and then make the best decision that I can make for the people of Shreveport.
Sure. And I can tell, as mayor, you're very touchable for the citizens of Shreveport, so we appreciate you for that. In one word, if you can, describe the city of Shreveport, or why you love the city of Shreveport in one word.
People. I think that the people of Shreveport are the greatest folks around. Wow. And I think that we have a tremendous amount of untapped potential, and that we don't necessarily even recognize ourselves. Sure. So it's very, very important to me that people love their city and realize that there's a whole lot of really wonderful things about our city because of the people that live here.
Of course. Well, Mayor, we definitely appreciate you. We got to get you back.
So I'll be glad to come back.
All right.
Come back anytime.
All right.
You figure out the topics and I'll make myself available. I really like to be accessible to people.
Sure thing. And we thank you so much for coming and being part of the podcast. You're watching again the Love Shreveport podcast. We had Mayor Tom Arceneaux with us. Please don't forget, go to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe. City of Shreveport, LA. That's on our YouTube channel. And then go to our social media platforms as well. Facebook, City of Shreveport Government. It has a blue check. That'll let you know that we're verified and it is us truly. Also on Instagram, Love Shreveport, and that has a blue check as well. And then on Twitter, you can follow us at Love Shreveport 1. Again, another episode of the Love Shreveport podcast with Mayor Tom Arceneaux. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.